Alright, y'all, we about to get into a new video. This is Jimmy High Roller, how a 5-year-old beef destroyed the greatest season in NBA history. It's crazy title. Let's get into the video.
Most times in the NBA, when players have beef, it's usually nothing. Maybe some smack talk here and there, some friendly banter from time to time.
Luka and Devin Booker beef, that beef was crazy. When Luka hit that shot and like they were up by so much and he was staring at Devin Booker, oh my gosh.
A subtle jab or some extra motivation for the next time they match up. In rare occasions, beefs grow into something more, real rivalries with very real consequences. But more often than not, the respect is mutual, and the beef players have is in the spirit of some good, admirable competition. But what if it wasn't? What if it got so out of control, it altered the very history of the NBA itself?
NBA is crazy. What beef is he talking about? I don't, a 5-year-old beef. Is he talking about Shaq and Kobe?
When two players despise each other so much that the mere comparison of them is met with consequence. And what if the beef began over something that never really even mattered in the first place?
Also, these niggas go way back. Jimmy High Roller.
Today's video is sponsored by...
You know Jimmy gonna get that ad money, my boy.
Wasn't a basketball. The first
Damn, I
mention
know
of
they
Wemby
go
and Chet
that way back though. They actually like had beef Chet and Wemby.
The first mention of Wemby and Chet together in some degree, at least from what I could find, was in a basketball forum all the way back in December of 2020, where a user asked the question, who are your top 5 players for the class of 2021 and 2022? Every single answer that followed containing both the names Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, but in different orders. Chet 2, Wemby 3, Chet 1, Wemby 3, Wemby 2, Chet 3,
Damn.
Wemby 1, Chet 2. 2020 doesn't feel too long ago, but anyone who had Victor as the best prospect in this class was well ahead of the curve, since at the time, he was just 16 years old and had about 10 months of film on his resume where he looked like an actual child trapped in a giant's body. Chet, on the other hand, was the #1 ranked prospect in America in his senior year of high school, already committed to Gonzaga and nearly 2 years older than Wemby. Ironically, Victor wasn't even in the class of 22. He was a member of the 23 NBA draft class. This question should have never even involved Victor in the first place. But fate would have it that these two would be compared long before they ever even faced one another.
Dang, I didn't know they go way back like this. So basically they were just like Goku and Vegeta, basically. Like, they have like some Naruto and Sasuke type relationship. That's crazy.
At the time, any and all potential interactions between the two were held off until the following season. But 7 months later, in the summer of 2021, Wemby and Chet would match up for the first time in their careers, in a game that would spark the most heated rivalry in basketball today.
Heated is crazy. They hate each other.
In July of 2021, the FIBA Basketball U19 final came down to the USA versus France, the most highly anticipated matchup of the summer with a world championship on the line. As usual, Team USA had a stacked roster, featuring 10 future NBA players, some of which include Jaden Ivey, Peyton Watson, Kenny Lofton, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and the best player in the country, Chet Holmgren. France? Well, they had a 17-year-old Victor Wembanyama, who at the time was already seen as the best prospect in the world, regardless of age. The freakish frames and tools of both Wemby and Chet sparking conversations of similarities between the two. Both slim, lengthy big men with offensive games far too sharp for their size and NBA-ready defensive instincts. Who's better? Who is the rarer unicorn? By the end of this game, those questions were answered. Victor Wembanyama was clearly a step above everyone else.
Second boot, Wembanyama. Nemahi Balu gets inside. Oh, and then Wembanyama there for the putback.
Wemby. And the crazy about it, just seeing the way they're playing back then, it's just crazy how now when like I be seeing Victor whip Chet's ass. Like, you remember that clip with like they blew whistle Chet and Wemby like bumped into him? And after that, he did like a mob to himself or something. I forgot. That one was crazy.
Every possession for Wembanyama for 3.
The way he be playing against Shea, you do not fuck with Chet. So Wemby been whooping this boy ass for years, bro. Even before they went into this.
Another tough shot.
They say he was 16 at this time.
Blocked by Wembanyama.
Crazy.
despite being the youngest player on the court and finishing the game with 22, 8, and 8. As very visibly
How tall
the
was
best
he
player
here?
on
He
the
had to
floor,
be like
Team USA narrowly edged out France, beating them 81 to 83. And to add insult to injury, the tournament MVP was none other than Chet Holmgren, Wemby having to settle for a silver medal and a spot on the all-tournament team. Now, for most players on the brink of a promising NBA career, this entire tournament would be non-consequential, irrelevant within a few months. But Victor Wembanyama isn't like most players. As the awards were being handed out, Victor could be seen with a look of almost disgust. If you didn't know any better, you'd think France came in dead last by the way Victor handled this loss. Moping around, head down, dragging his feet, disinterested in the whole thing. Appalled even that they didn't win the tournament and he didn't win MVP. A moment that Victor Wembanyama recalls as the worst basketball memory of his life, saying, quote, "Just thinking about it makes my jaw clench. It's a regret, an unfilled hole inside me that I have to fix." This quote is borderline concerning. These are not the words of a kid ready to just forget and move on to a bright NBA career. Unbeknownst to him, Chet Holmgren created a void in the career of the best basketball prospect on the planet. And by any means necessary, Victor was going to spend the next half-decade filling that void.
Damn, so this dude has a villain arc, bro. That's some anime shit.
By the start of the
okay.
2023-24 NBA season, Chet and Wemby were slated to face off in their first NBA matchup. But this wasn't just their first matchup in the league against each other. Although Chet was drafted a year before Wemby, an injury sidelined Holmgren for what should have been his rookie season.
And so
not only would they be battling for Rookie of the Year that entire season, the very first game of their respective careers were, of course, against one another. Now, this was a preseason game. It should not have meant anything at all. And it didn't mean anything to anyone besides Chet and Wemby, both of them going suspiciously hard in a preseason game in early October. Despite a few viral moments from Wemby, the Thunder came back and won the game, and it was Chet who outplayed Victor in just about every measurable way. And in the very first public stoking of the fire, Chet tweeted this after the game. As if Victor needed any more motivation, as if the kid that was left with a hole inside him that needed to be fixed needed any more fuel to the fire, Chet Holmgren just doused it with a gallon of gasoline in front of the entire world. And thus, this rivalry officially began. In his post-game interview, Chet was asked about his budding rivalry with Wemby, to which he had this to say.
I know you and Victor have been connected for years, even though you haven't played against each other very much. And he just was saying that he thinks this is going to be the start of a lot of really good games against each other. Do you feel that way?
100%. I played against him a couple years ago in FIBA, and I plan to play a long time, and I'm sure he does too. So there'll be no choice but to go back and forth. So,
and he was right. There has, in fact, been no choice but to go back and forth. Even before their first regular season matchup, their relationship was already being labeled as the makings of NBA's next intense
I hate when
rivalry.
NBA always
By
try
their
to force a
second matchup of the
rivalry,
season,
bro. I hate when the NBA literally tries to, like, they try so hard to force a rivalry. Like, no, just stop it. Like, you just gotta let it marinate. Like, if these people don't mess with each other, just let them hoop it out. And, like, if they actually do cause a rivalry, then okay, like, Braun and Steph, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't something that just forced. That's something that just happened naturally. Don't try to just force, like, just stop it, bro. I know that obviously they have issues and out, but bro, don't try to force beef. I hate when NBA does that.
Intensity between them had already built up to the point where they were abandoning sets altogether to go at each other one-on-one. Wemby going out of his way to show Chet and the rest of the world there should have never been a comparison in the first place. The numbers on the scoreboard briefly becoming irrelevant in these moments.
That's
Now
an up and under.
Chet didn't really even do anything to deserve this. An innocent bystander who just happened to cross paths with an alien in a FIBA tournament. But Wemby had a hole inside him, and he was fixing it. After the game, the media only made things worse by leading off with a slew of questions about the rivalry and what the two thought of it.
In terms of not matching up the right, you marked
I mean, it's obviously like human nature, but to really be uncommon and not just do what everybody else does. You have to kind of fight that. And obviously, that's the headline that you guys have. That's what ESPN's promoting. That's what the NBA is promoting, and rightfully so. Vic's a great player.
Bro, stop trying to say all this. Like, bro, if I was in the NBA, that's the thing with these players. I can understand y'all are PR trained and stuff, but a person like me, bro, if it's just someone I don't mess with, bro, and I'm just say, yo, like, fuck this nigga, bro. Like, bro, I'm gonna go out this dude's neck every single game for the rest of my career and his career while we're in the same league playing together, bro. I'm going to like spank this nigga every time I have the chance to, bro. We're not cool. Fuck you. That's exactly what Chet got to say, bro. You don't gotta say all this PR shit, bro. Stop trying to act all sweet. This nigga Wemby don't mess with you. He's trying to take your head off every time y'all play. He do not care about you, bro. Damn.
But I plan to be a great player.
Fuck that PR shit, bro. I'll get fined.
I wasn't matched up against him the whole game. My first goal is always to win, and I don't in a game like this, I don't think about that, especially in a loss.
First impression of these two unicorns and their potential in the league, it was a
I forgot when we did that. Doing a nutmeg in his height is crazy.
Chet. Their names still intertwined, and for many fans, they were each other's equal.
This is potentially the beginning of something special, not only for the two of them individually, but the two of them head to head.
I think both of these guys are studs. They're future stars. You think that there's a better version of me, or I've already bettered him in under 19? There's a competitiveness that you see from Chet. I don't know about that from Victor yet. I believe that he is that dude because he has all of the talent and all of the skills, and he's mature beyond his years, as everyone says. But I do know that both of these guys seem like they're uber talented and they have some dog in them.
The league needs Victor Wembanyama. They need Chet Holmgren to be players that are transcendent.
This, however, did not last very long. By the end of their rookie seasons, Wemby had firmly asserted himself as not just the superior player, but the future face of the league. A season that was capped off with Wemby's first triumph over Chet.
From the #1 pick and otherworldly expectations to now the unanimous winner of Rookie of the Year, Victor Wembanyama lived up to the hype.
Well, Victor and Chet is not close.
NBA selection for Rookie of the Year. Only the 6th time in NBA history the Rookie of the Year race has been unanimous. He was the 3rd #1 draft choice.
What has it meant? Everything,
Victor didn't just win Rookie of the Year, he won it unanimously. And, more importantly, he stopped Chet from winning it.
I mean, you can come up with 50 pros and cons for each of us on
is that Grant Williams? Yo,
what we're
Gary
playing.
just not looking at, bro.
At the end of the day,
that guy's a bot.
What is the criteria? This is my thing with all NBA awards. Like, what is the criteria? It's hard. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, no,
so
but that's like for him. I'm tripping.
Who has more voters that believe in their side of the criteria? I guess. Like, I mean, all credit to him for a great season and everything. And we're not rookies anymore. So like,
I mean, you didn't play your next game though.
You what? I played more than 82 though, so that's the rule on our team.
Wait,
more than 82.
Wait, is that still a...
Most of y'all don't get the chance though, because most rookies don't get into the playoffs. So you can't play more than 82. So
As much as they tried to deny it, this was a rivalry, and it was building quickly. And for just a moment, a small portion of that hole created in 2021 was fixed. But not for long. Wemby won this battle, but in the following season, Chet achieved something far bigger.
You won that ring, boy.
By the start of the 2024-25 season, most fans had accepted that Wemby had taken a leap over Chet. Going into the season, Wemby had jumped all the way up the player rankings to 11th. Chet Holmgren, 32nd. Even in the description of his ranking, Chet unable to escape the expanding shadow of Victor's ascension. But despite the gap that he was building on Chet, Wemby was still unsatisfied with the fact that they were still being mentioned in the same breath. In fact, his disdain for Chet and the Thunder was only growing over time.
What happens when you bring up Chet to Victor?
Well, Chet is not exactly Candyman, but Victor will not even say the man's name.
Wow.
And that's pretty much been the theme ever since Victor Wembanyama arrived in San Antonio. I think it's because, there is a real budding rivalry here.
And
damn, you don't even say bro's name?
Trying to take the attention away from the rivalry.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was that serious.
On the team, Oklahoma City and
he really do not fuck with this
That's
dude,
what's
Chet.
going on these days. But I'm telling you, they do not like each other. They respect each other, but you'll see it manifest itself on the court.
As Andrew Schlecht of The Athletic put it, Wemby was creating his very own Voldemort. The kid was pouring mental lighter fluid on a fire that was already out of control. It only made matters worse when the Spurs acknowledged that they were using the Thunder as the blueprint for where they wanted to be in the future. It's the kind of motivation that can consume a man if he isn't careful. And Wemby was eaten alive by it. In their first matchup of the season, Chet completely outclassed Wemby, holding him to just 6 points in statistically his worst game of the entire season. On the other end, Chet had himself a game. The Thunder won the matchup, they were looking like early favorites to win the title, and the Spurs were still trying to figure out how they could possibly keep up. A performance that rekindled the Wemby versus Chet conversation. And before Victor could once again prove otherwise, he was dealt his biggest challenge yet.
Breaking news out of the NBA, according to our Shams Charania, Victor Wembanyama, the San Antonio Spurs star, is going to miss the rest of the season with what Shams is reporting, a form of a blood clot in his right shoulder. He is out for the season.
I remember that. That shit pissed me off.
Believe that this is an isolated.
While the Thunder were gapping the field and Chet was blossoming into a vital piece on a potential championship team, Victor was sidelined with a season-ending injury. What's the worst-case scenario for a man hell-bent on revenge and willing to do anything to get it? Being helpless and out of commission while your adversary is inching closer to basketball immortality. Well, actually, that's not quite the worst-case scenario, but this is.
The Thunder have taken the NBA by storm. For the first time, the NBA champion resides at Oklahoma City. The storybook season is complete.
It almost sounds like a work of fiction. This whole saga, this young man's rise to glory and his subsequent fall, idly watching his admittedly unjustifiable enemy achieve the ultimate goal. It's at this point where most players would probably let this whole thing go. Realize that this beef has gotten out of control. They're two different players on two different timelines with two different paths. It's just not worth it to hold on to something that, in the grand scheme of things, is so insignificant. But Victor Wembanyama is not like most players.
He's a GOAT. Yo, the way Jimmy, I ain't gonna lie, Jimmy High Roller is literally a GOAT. I don't feel like people like give Jimmy his respect that much. Like this dude, like I feel like his presentation for like the NBA and his commentary is literally peak. Cause I grew up watching Jimmy Holloway. First it was Mike Korzemba, then I transferred over to Jimmy. And the way, bro, Jimmy needs to be a sports analyst. Like I don't know why he haven't done that yet. Like he literally has the influence and he has the ball knowledge to do that. If this man started like a TV show, like you know how Stephen A. Smith has his own kind of show outside of ESPN, like if Jimmy Holloway were to do this, I promise you he'll be bigger than any other podcast. He'll be bigger than Club 520. Or whatever you pronounce it, the one with Teague and all them, Gilbert Arena show, but like, bro, Jimmy High Roller will be bigger than all, like, bro, the way he presents and just shows the way that league is played and just shows and uplifts the NBA players, like, he just does it so well. Like, this dude is goated, bro. No glaze. Actually, that is kind of glaze, but it's respectable glaze.
You personally have not faced this team since October 2024. You didn't know it had been that long?
I knew it had been long, but I didn't know it had been more than a year.
In what ways does today's version of you approach that matchup differently?
I mean, much more experience in this league, in life, much more knowledge, I would say, of who we are as a team. It's going to be a totally different game than any before.
By the start of the 2025-26 NBA season, a lot had changed over the last year. Wemby was back and ready to play basketball again. He made another jump in the preseason player rankings from 11th to 5th. Chet also made a jump of his own, from 32nd to 24th. For the first time, Wemby was officially recognized as an NBA superstar.
I remember he signed to Nike.
And Chet was now an NBA champion. And if seeing Chet win MVP in a U19 FIBA tournament created a void in Wemby, seeing a ring on his finger created a black hole ready to swallow up anything in its wake. When recently asked if he considers there to be a rivalry between him and Chet, Wemby said, "No, I don't think about that. At least from a basketball standpoint, there's no comparison between us. What does
Stop
Wemby
playing,
think
Wemby.
about the
Talk your shit.
comparison?
See, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about. You see how Wemby is going at Chet? He don't fuck with this man. He is pointedly stated out that, yo, I do not F with this man, bro. I want all the smoke, bro. There's no comparison between us, bro. I'm better than this man. This is what this man is saying. You got Chet in an interview trying to act all PR, act all PG-13. No one's trying to hear that shit. We need real rivalries back in the NBA. Stop trying to act all nice and shit. Just realize that, like, yo, y'all play on different teams for different cities. When I play you, I'm trying to beat your ass, bro, and I want you to suffer every time when I have the ball and I'm trying to cook you. So, like, bro, NBA's got to bring back real rivalries, bro. League gotten soft. Y'all are pussies.
His feelings hadn't changed. He's so appalled by it, he thinks there shouldn't be one. But maybe we should be asking Chet how he feels about the rivalry.
Do you consider yourself and Victor Wembanyama a rivalry in the league?
I don't think it's ever been up to players or teams to declare rivalries, so you're asking the wrong person.
Bro, come on.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't know about that. Regardless of what the fans or the media think, there is nothing we can do about the 7'6" basketball demigod who's out for revenge.
He really is a demigod.
Hyper-fixated on specifically making
Like,
sure
bro, he don't really have to jump like that to
never
block your
one-up him
shot,
again.
like-
His disdain for Chet at this
You
point
literally gonna
no
have to throw
longer
the ball
subtle
like
or
David to
cordial.
like the top
Fans
of the
and
arena
media
just for
taking
thinking not to
notice
block
that
that shit.
this is not your average friendly back and forth. Wemby is a man possessed, and Chet Holmgren wants nothing to do with it. But while the Spurs were still trying to iron out some wrinkles and adjust to an evolving roster, the OKC Thunder were scorching the entire league. 10-1, 15-1, 20-1, entering conversations of OKC having a good chance of breaking the all-time record for
It
wins in a
is not
season.
gonna happen.
And Chet Holmgren, the right-hand
That was
man
not
to the
beating that
league
Warriors
MVP,
record, boy.
with much larger sights than a beef with Wemby.
We've already sort of gone down the road. He says that he and Wemby have never really spoken. That rivalry is happening. I don't care what anybody says. Is there a possibility that Wemby's a little in his head at the moment?
I think this thing is man-made.
Yeah,
Listen,
want this.
okay, they're both 7-footers and they came out back-to-back years or whatever, and Chet was hurt. Other than that, that's where it ends for me. Like, the real rivalry, it's levels to this conversation. The real rivalry to me is going to be SGA and Wemby. Those are the MVP candidates. Why would an MVP candidate have a rivalry with a guy that's not in that conversation? I think there's a lot of levels and a lot of layers to these conversations, and I think Wemby has graduated from that conversation of a rivalry with Chet.
It looked like there was nothing that could slow down OKC, and for some, this rivalry was a thing of the past. When it came time for these two to face off again, at least on paper, the Thunder were a better team in the midst of what could have been the greatest season the league had ever seen. But after 14 long months since the last time Victor saw Chet on the court, and 4 years after Chet stole his tournament MVP, on December 13th, the day had come where he could finally get back to fixing that hole.
Missed the last 12, and he's getting ready to head on the floor for his first action since November 14th. Harper pull up, Jay, no. Tipped up and in, instant impact from Wemby. No good. Another offensive board for Wembanyama. It's a different game now. Harper is lonely. Early in this game. Wembanyama goes down, gives it up, Champagnie. 3-ball, corner pocket. Teardrop, no, blocked out of there by Wembanyama.
Damn.
San Antonio is quite a bit better with Victor Wembanyama. That's why you have to go get a guy with my experience.
Wemby.
I remember watching this game.
Dan
I could tell
Lane.
by that
Wemby's
three,
a
man. I
plus
remember.
20.
That was crazy. That was a good ass game.
Is that the high elbow?
There's this matchup. Wembanyama
Did he make this shot?
with the rejection
Oh, he
on
blocked that shit.
Wembanyama
Damn.
changes everything at the defensive end of the floor.
Damn.
Everything.
It's over to Wembanyama. Made the catch. Fading away.
I'm talking Chet like 7'2", right?
Wembanyama got it back. Fires. Then drops.
I'm just bigger than you. That's all this boils down to.
You snapped their 16-game winning streak, just their second loss of the season. We saw your emotions throughout this one, as everyone's saying that the Thunder is a team that is almost unbeatable. What does this win say about where this group is right now?
Man, she literally got a break her neck just to look at this
Says a
man.
lot about where he's going to be in the future.
It
I
was
mean,
a
that's
tight
only
end,
their second
bro.
loss of this season. It means something.
for the Spurs. Same starting five we have seen. Looks Wemby steps right through. Oh my goodness! Right over Chet Holmgren. Harper throw it out. Wembanyama takes it. Go back out. Wembanyama.
Stephen Castle is really underrated, though. They gotta stop putting respect on like he is big. Well, then they beat him like 3 times in the season.
Christmas gift.
Yeah, they beat him like twice.
Now, I would like, with my teammates, to introduce a real new tradition.
Oh yeah, that was a clip. Huh.
The San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder, a burgeoning Western Conference rivalry. Wembanyama continues to have a profound impact for the Spurs positively, both the offensive end of the floor and the defensive end of the floor. They're on cue, Wemby with the buy one, get one free right now. It sure feels like one. Wemby with an exclamation point just to let you know. Beyond by the three-point circle. One dribble pull-up and a propitious roll and a shooting touch to his teammate Wiggins, and got it back on the glass as Wemby pulls one at the other end for 3. Got it back and lays it home. We got a whistle. First of all, a spectacular pass by Wembanyama. Off the wide action, Wemby pulls the 3. Got it. Come on.
Not only are they kicking their ass on the floor, but they're letting them hear about it. The passion, the noise talking. And not only have they beaten them 3 straight times, they punked them 3 straight times.
How much fun was it to be back in the mix again after having to wait the last few weeks to play?
Well, I mean, you can't imagine. Just get better, do some beautiful things. And I just wanted to be a part of it, you know? And I'm glad that we can still do it when I'm here. I have no doubt, of course, but I'm just glad to be a part of something that's growing to be so beautiful and so pure and ethical basketball, you know?
Conjuring up what could only be described as superhuman levels of pettiness, Victor Wembanyama unleashed 4 years of frustration upon Chet and the OKC Thunder, beating a team that only had 1 loss in nearly 2 months and was well on track to being the greatest regular season team of all time, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a 12-day span, purely out of spite. Now, of course, Wemby wanted to win these games, but the far more pressing matter was making sure Chet lost.
Y'all think Wemby, like, what is y'all ceiling for Wemby? I want to know. Because my ceiling for Wemby, that's it, because I want to say without injuries, because he's very injury prone, because, you know, he's very tall, and he's playing like a fast-paced game, so, like, I don't want him to get injured, but I'm saying, like, he's, like, you know, it's easier for him to get hurt is what I'm trying to say. I'm not just going to say he's going to get hurt because I would never wish injury on like another player. That's lame. I feel like he's probably going to win at least like 2 rings. That's what I feel like. I feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like 2 rings is going to happen. He's probably going to get an MVP one time. Maybe like 2 scoring championships. Probably like 5 like first team All NBAs. Yeah. That's
every conceivable opportunity, Victor made it abundantly clear that this was personal, morphing into Chet's very own boogeyman and playing each and every possession like his life depended on it, flexing on him, throwing down windmills after the whistle, addressing the people, and creating an entirely new tradition from scratch. But not only did the Spurs beat the Thunder 3 times in a 2-week window, Victor Wembanyama and his insatiable thirst for vengeance single-handedly derailed what could have been the greatest regular season of all time. The Thunder's record leading up to that fateful December 13th night, 24-1, on pace to beating the all-time wins record. Their record since that first matchup against the Spurs, 6-6. The record now well out of reach. Now, to see the Thunder have completely unraveled simply because Victor is a resentful man who is hell-bent on not letting things go may sound like a bit of an overestimation of the damage Wemby inflicted onto this franchise. Then again, if you told someone the future face of the NBA is still mad over a meaningless MVP who lost 5 years ago in an international tournament that nobody remembers and is still seeking revenge on the poor guy who stole it from him to this day, that would probably sound like an overreaction too. For the Spurs, these wins were a step in the right direction, a sign that they could really compete and beat the best team in the league. But for Wemby, these wins were retribution. One step closer to filling the void where that MVP should be. Intrinsic proof that there should have been no comparison, and that he is definitively better than Chet. A conclusion that all of us reached about 2 years ago.
Ooh, that was a good video. Jimmy High Roller, you cook for that. Anyways, though, catch me on the next video. Like, subscribe, follow all my links in my bio. Follow me on Twitch. Peace.